All of these are recreations. So the original is about a mile away, and they bulldozed out all the buildings down in the 1950s. So, but the things inside the buildings is of the time period. But this was refurbished by Gulf Oil and Gulf Oil Orange. How about that?
That's how it transfers oil.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Should I go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was asked where the original city was, and that's about a mile away across the highway over there. And all of the buildings out there were bulldozed down in the 1950s. So these are all recreations, but there are original artifacts from Spindletop, and most of the artifacts are from that time period. Over here, though, is Patilla Higgins' 1930 Ford Model A. And Patilla Higgins was the person that really, really wanted to look for the oil. He had an inkling that there was oil under Beaumont. Unfortunately, nobody believed him. They made fun of him. They brought an expert from Austin who said, don't believe what Patilla Higgins says. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And Patilla Higgins was also very headstrong. He's like, I don't care what you're saying. I know there's oil under Beaumont. I'm going to find it. Oh, they were living all over. We're going to find out that they actually rented the chair here too. So. Somebody was asking me as they were coming in, where did they sleep? They slept everywhere. The barber was able to rent the chair sometimes 2 times a day, once during the day and once during the night, for people to sleep here.
This is where we're coming in next. There's table and chairs.
This one's bigger. Alright, come on in.
Oh, we did.
Sorry, I drank everything. You could have a seat in the chairs. I drank everything before you got here, so. There was a lot of gambling houses and that. If we were to do this city right, we would take off all of the front doors of the buildings, because many of the places didn't even have front doors because it was a 24-hour operation. People were making money and coming in and out all times of the night. So, so that's what kind of there. Up here you can have the don't spit on the floor. So up here on this post. So I get to teach children about the spittoons. They love that word. And so, of course, I don't put them up by the tables where they should be, because somebody will use my spittoon and I don't know. So, and that they were trying to look for, they knew kind of who did it, so they were trying to look for him. And he came across a deputy and he shot and killed the deputy. However, when the before the deputy died, he got a shot off and hit Patilla Higgins in the arm, and that's where he lost his arm. So now later he goes to a religious revival and he finds God, and he wiped off anything that caused mischief in his life. And so in Gladys City itself, it was against your lease to serve alcohol in the city limits. And many of the children, they found jobs faster than their father did many times. So, and I tell the children that it's because, of course, they're cheap. They can get in places we can't get into, and they're extendable. They're easily replaceable if they get hurt or whatever. So, and that was the truth. So it wasn't until 1916 that there was a law that they had to go to. I hope the rain doesn't destroy our fun. This is the post office, obviously. Come on in, even though I'm speaking. You can see the picture of the real Gladys City right there. And so that picture and the picture across from it was looking at Gladys City, the opposite sides. But that's what we took our copy from. So you can see the covered porches, the wooden walkways, those kind of things. So you can see that. Also down below you can see the picture of all of the derricks put together. And you know, these guys were pumping fast and furious, the same oil coming out.
Yeah.
But
Take a panorama, that's okay.
Dry goods. Yeah, man, you can't go in here.
dry goods store, and if you look closely, you would see that the post office had the postmaster Gibson, and the dry goods store is Gibson. They were right next to each other because the postmaster ran both the store and the post office. So probably his wife helped him. So this is one of my favorites because there's a lot of really interesting stuff. But at this time, if you were a lonely oil man, you probably bought your suit already made. If you were lucky enough to bring your wife, they would have came here and bought the stuff to make your suits. So, sewing machine.
But is it a singer? Or?
No, it's not a singer. It is. Don't want to get in your picture there. There is a name right there. So. But yeah, one of their earlier. So women on an everyday sort would probably wear a bonnet. Obviously, if you're going to a nice party or that, you would wear one of those fun fancy hats, you know, which I don't have. But then you see.
This is up above one of the buildings.
Yeah.
How do you found out? Why does it want me to do a panorama in here? I don't want a panorama. 3 bedrooms. A pretty nice apartment. There's your shoes.
Look at the vacuum with the crank on it.
Oh, that's a vacuum cleaner. Oh my
With
gosh.
a crank on it.
Oh, you cranked it.
Look
There's
at
a
the
clock.
Look at the
Bathtub. That's a bathtub.
Yeah.
I also probably had a squash in this freezing it. Ice box. We had a big ice box.
Yeah.
A big chunk of ice.
I noticed each of the bedrooms has a little pot down on the floor. Can't imagine what that's for.
I had to use one when I.
And here is the downstairs where the living quarters were. This is the grocery store.
Are you cold? Oh, yeah. Are you cold? Yeah. Checkers.
I'm getting cold.
It is getting chilly.
It is. Yeah, meat grinder. But there's no markings, nothing about really what that is, but that's what our desk has.
This is your cobweb.
That was on the, I probably said it wrong, it's meat carver, but I just put it on the table. So. Here, I have a picture probably. Probably is, first of all, it was first made in Toledo, Ohio, and now it is being made in Hawaii. It's the official coffee company of Hawaiian Airlines. But another really interesting trivia fact, they are the reason why we have bulk mail, because on their packaging, if you cut out a certain image or whatever and send it in, you got prizes or money off and that. So there was so much that the post office had to make bulk mail, so that's the reason why we have bulk mail. So that's what they claim. So. The first picture was taken by a man named Trust, and Trust was found out about it and went out there, took two horse and buggies out there because the first one got stuck in the mud. It was raining and that. He eventually got out there and took the first picture. And he put that on all over. And he tried to sell it to newspapers and that. Some newspapers readily saw the value in it. Some newspapers like, oh no, we're not interested until they found out, oh wait, maybe we are.
Around all my relatives. Oh, I got base people. Yeah. And they could take it to the bank. I was known for that too. Yeah.
You were known for what?
Being honest.
Honesty? Whoa.
All right, this is the Lamb print shop, and the Lamb family went back 5 generations, and they, yeah, you can take one. They were a printing family. They were around during Spindletop. These machines still work, so you can take one of the cards right there. The Linotype illiteracy rates went down, and they can make a newspaper longer than 4 pages, because they were able to do it very quickly. So that's why well, yeah, that would be about 60 years, 62.
But I mean, I knew a lot about it.
You know. Oh, really?
Yeah, and he would do it at the same time. One hand, one hand. His name was George Olympic.
That's awesome.
The kid's dead now because he got a job driving school bus and the kids drove him. He had brain pop. And he was the same age as me, man. Them kids can be horrible on school buses. You spilled your ice cream
So if you eat too much ice cream,
spilled
you
your
go back in the next.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
If you eat too much, you go back there to the
Right. Well, also the,
Then too many people waiting
you know, this was normal in a lot of the doctor's office because like Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi Cola, they were made by pharmacists to hide your medicine in.
Oh,
So of course at this time Coca-Cola until 1903 still had cocaine in it
yeah.
and was said to be a health drink. So people would drink it to get rid of headaches, which it did, but then later they had bigger headache. They just thought.
This is in the doctor's office behind the soda fountain. Ice cream parlor.
This is surveyors, yeah. The surveyors were behind the Buc-ee's, you know. These kind of people. Oh, this is where they got the pictures of all these famous people in the movie. See, there's that guy, old George O'Brien, that camped there during the Civil War. And he's the one that first thought there was all. Here's a picture of the guy the gangster guy without the arm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
What are those big wheels for over there?
So sure glad that our weather, even though it's kind of dreary day, is not horrible. It's not.
Lower deck.
So they still use this very much. So that's kind of cool. As I was saying, the anvils go all the way back to the original blacksmith of Gladys City. He actually got his start in San Antonio. One of his more interesting customers was Theodore Roosevelt, as Roosevelt was getting ready for the Spanish-American War. And the blacksmith didn't really like Roosevelt. He thought he was cocky and didn't like him.
I figured that out.
And so people still went around with their wagons and horses, mostly because, first of all, they thought the cars went very fast at 20 miles an hour. That was really quick at that time, so they thought they were dangerous. They were also expensive. And then you could also see editorials in newspapers of the day that they thought that if you gave up your horse and buggy, if you gave up your horse, it's just like